Welcome to part 3 of Understanding Slowly Changing Dimensions, and I hope in this video it'll kind of all come together here and you'll get this visual and it'll start to make sense. Make sure that you understand this concept before you go sit the exam, okay? So you may want to go back and watch all 3 of these parts once again if the light doesn't come on here. So let's go back to this type 1 slowly changing dimension. Notice here's my dimension table, and I've simplified this way down for you, okay? This dimension table has 4 columns in it right now: customer ID, full name, city, and state. And I only have 1 row in here to make it even easier for you, okay? Notice, customer ID is 23, full name's Mark Long. I'm in Atlanta, Georgia. Well, this would be, say, the customer dimension. Not a lot of data here, but bear with me. So what happens is I change my address, and the OLTP data just gets pulled in here on the next data load, and we overwrite the city. And notice this dimension now records me as customer ID 23. I'm Mark Long. My city is Pittsburgh, and the state's Pennsylvania. So if I ran a report last week when this was in the data warehouse, those 12,000 items that I ordered would be reflected in the Atlanta, Georgia numbers, the southeastern United States numbers, the eastern U.S. numbers, whatever. But if you run the same report this week, those 12,000 items are going to appear in the Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania region, or in those numbers. But notice in the eastern United States, it's not going to be any different. If it's just the country United States, it's not going to be any different. If it's the northern hemisphere, it won't be any different. So again, while this looks like a lazy solution, it totally depends on how you're using your data and what you're actually reporting and the reason you're reporting it. Now, this is the one you need to see to really understand, and this is the type 2 slowly changing dimension. Notice in this one, I planned from the start to deal with slowly changing dimensions as a type 2 slowly changing dimension. So notice, not only do I just have a customer ID, I also have a data warehouse customer ID. And this is a surrogate key. Now, this number 27 simply tells you that if I'm using this key, if it's an integer key and it's just automatically incrementing by 1 every time a new row gets added, then that just means that there's 26 other customers up here before I got put in here. Customer ID is 23, full name's Mark Long, city's Atlanta, state's Georgia, and whether or not this is the current record is going to be listed right here. Actually, this should be a 1, but I don't want to make it too complicated for you, okay? So this is what it looked like. This would have been the current record as a 1 before I moved to Pittsburgh. So I moved to Pittsburgh, I get ready to load, and I've got these 2 new columns in my dimension now for type 2. And now when I insert that one, you'll notice I do insert a new row, and notice this data warehouse key is now 297 because since I originally got into the database and I lived in Atlanta, been doing business for quite a while, there's been 270 other lines added to this dimension. So we've picked up 270 new customers, but all of a sudden really 269, and all of a sudden I show up with a move to Pittsburgh. So we add a new line for me, and I become a data warehouse customer ID 297. Notice my customer ID is still 23, so we can see that I'm in here twice. My name's still Mark Long, but the city's now Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, as opposed to Atlanta, Georgia, and the current flag is set to 1. So when I pull old reports, I can see that those 12,000 sales when I was in Atlanta are properly assigned to Atlanta, Georgia, southeastern United States, whatever is going on there. And any new orders that I place from that point forward will come from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and so forth. Now, I will have to change my queries to make sure that I'm pulling current data or I'm pulling historical data to see what's going on, or I can pull both, right? I can just kind of leave this out and it'll pull both, but it will report them differently because it's going to find a match for me in both Atlanta and Pittsburgh. Now, I hope this helps you understand the difference between a type 1 and a type 2. Type 1, just override it. Type 2, we're going to add some more columns, and we're going to work on identifying changes. Now, you can get a lot more creative with this, but this is the most simple example that I could show you to help you understand how we're going to do this. And a lot of people would add more things here that add a date or a timestamp on when this Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania actually appeared in the database, so you might have more columns out here. But the bottom line is we want to somehow store the data in such a way that we can still get back to historical accuracy with the data from historical reports all the way up through current and future reports. Okay, so that's a three-part video to help you understand slowly changing dimensions.